Good morning. My name is Angela Fagg with Messengers of Truth. That's a name, not a lifestyle. It's my first video live on the X. Hopefully it's going through, so hello over there. I also now have a TikTok and will eventually put that in the description. And hopefully it goes to all platforms. I don't know exactly how it works yet, so we're going to just be going with it. It is sunrise, and that's what we usually do, is I try to come here during sunrise. I have two dogs, Rip and Bob, that are playing around, so if you get a little jiggling in the camera, that's from them running around. It's not too daylight out right now, so you can't really, I don't know if you'd be able to see them. Hopefully we can get them in the shot. Where are they at? Over there. They're puppies. Bob is the golden retriever. Bob, get out of there. And Rip is the German Shepherd. Okay. I come here in the morning just to talk about things that are going on in the world and how I feel about it, or whatever else comes to mind at the present time. Sometimes I do write stuff down so I can remember it and be more clear, because I think that they're important topics to be talking about. And the one that has been like trying to jam itself down my throat this last week, or since 24 hours ago, is this Lindsay Clancy, I think her name is. She choked her children to death. Now she's on trial for it. I don't know what's wrong with you people and all these women out there acting a fool, because that's what it is. The chick killed her children, okay? And she was on, what? Antipsychotic drugs, or whatever they want to call them. And people are okay with that? I don't think so. So usually what I do is I usually have a story of something that coincides with what's going on in the world. So this chick, she strangles her children, right? Well, when I was younger, a long time ago, I don't remember how, it was over 20 years ago. I was doing landscaping with a friend of mine, and his cousin's wife was the one who, in Altamont Springs, Castleberry area, Florida, is where I live at. So it's like the greater Orlando area. Drowned her children in the bathtub. I knew that. I actually, the day after it happened, we went over there for my buddy to be able to see his cousin. And I felt real bad about it, man. Because back then, people actually gave a shit and were like, oh my God, she's a horrible person. Just like Casey Anthony. She's a horrible person. Okay? So now people are cheering on these horrible people that are just, they're killers. This is not sane. This is not, I mean, should we even use those words anymore? What is sane? Or are we only going by what the Rothschilds' education has taught everybody? Because their psychological warfare that they've been playing on the whole entire world is getting out of hand. I want to show you something because this looks kind of cool. And this is also what we do. I show you the different stuff in the sky. And usually we get some pretty cool sunrises around here. And oh, I didn't tell you where I was from. Cape Coral, Florida is where we're at right now, in my backyard. I have chickens too. Maybe I'll show them to you. Just give me a second before this cloud goes away, because things change a lot. See, it's starting to turn pink. And another thing that we've been discussing is how the sun is starting to move south again. I do not know if I'll be out here that long. Possibly, maybe not. So anyways, that's how I feel about that. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that people would cheer on anybody killing a child. I feel no she should get everything. And matter of fact, this is another thing. Why is it that we keep people on death row for 30 years? You got death row for a reason. Why are we still feeding you? Because see, people don't know this, but let me tell you a little something about prison. These people on death row are getting better health care than even the people on welfare. And that's the truth. Period. So not only are they getting excellent health care, they're getting fed 3 times a day, and they get showers and everything else after murdering somebody. You don't get on death row because you were playing on a merry-go-round. That's not what happens. Like this guy that just got put to death here in Florida, I don't remember his name because it doesn't matter to me, you know, on a personal level. He was in there 30 years on death row, dead to right. Okay, dead to right. He was guilty. He killed a girl on the beach, his girlfriend, okay, murdered her right on the beach, dead to rights, dead, okay? And he was on death row for 30 years. So we had to pay for him to live for 30 years. For what? And now, mind you, now this is what it was back in the day. Each prisoner gets from the government $1,500 a day. So every prisoner that's in jail, county jail, federal prison, regular prison, state prison, they get $1,500 a day for said prisoner. Doesn't matter what prisoner, it's a set amount. And that's what it was 20 years ago. So I'm sure with the cost of inflation and the way everything has gone up, I mean, we used to get candy bars for 53 cents. I know some of the old people are going to be like, well, Angela, let me back out a little bit so you can see more of the sky. Well, Angela, it used to be a nickel for that candy bar. Well, we need to have a conversation about this. Why is everything getting so expensive? $2.50 for a candy bar? Like, are you freaking kidding me? Nothing really changed on it. So I'm sure that the cost of living for a prisoner in jail is more than $1,500 a day. So mind you, most of these jails are actually privately owned. So they're making money off of them be there. Everybody wanted to complain about how these illegal immigrants who broke into our house were being treated in these jails, but you don't give a shit about your brothers and your sisters, you know, Americans that are in these prisons that get treated like shit. Some of them actually get tortured. And that's the truth. They get forced to take things and they have no way to get out of it. So every person that was in the jail system during the COVID was forced to take that shot, or all their rights were taken away. I can guarantee you that's exactly how it went. You can get your rights back when you take the vaccine, you son of a bitch. Why aren't you listening? You're trying to kill my grandma, aren't you? You see, it's absolutely ridiculous the things that have gone on in the last couple of years. And why the American people haven't come together to fight this shit, especially all the Epstein, what do we call them now? We got to use the key words, right? Because that's what's up. The Epstein class, right? The Epstein class that gets to rape, kill, murder, steal all your money. You know, they tell you, oh, we're feeding all these people all over the world. And then they show you the same freaking commercial for the last 30 years. I don't think that little brown boy with his stomach like that is actually either he's dead or he's grown man. That's a part of the psychological warfare that they're playing on everybody. Now, you got these people, they did their No Kings protest, right? When all they could talk about was how they wanted bigger government, how government should tell us how to raise our children, and government should tell us. Well, all those systems were built by the rich people to eventually keep everybody down. You see? They do nothing but poison us in our air, and our sky, in our ground, everywhere. I'm reading this book by Steve Quayle, and it's quite interesting. I'm going to do a separate video on that. And I think it's going to be like a series as I go through it, because I'm telling you right now, they've been doing some real horrible stuff to the American people. And it's not right. And why we can't come together as just human beings. Who cares about Democrat, Republican? We have let this go too far, is exactly what my point is. We have allowed it to go way entirely too far. And when I say we allowed it, all of us allowed it. It doesn't matter who you are, what your religion is, especially if you're just trying to get along, just trying to live, trying to be free. Well, you ain't free anymore in America, not even in the country of Florida. See, it's the United States of America. Each individual state has its own constitution. As they push all the data centers on us and everything else, everybody's like, oh, well, it'll be so good. We'll have more of this or that. Think about what technology has actually gotten us. I wouldn't be making this video without technology, and I definitely realize that. My point being is the communication levels on just people talking to each other has gone out the door. Open your eyes and look around. Look around when you're outside. Everybody's walking, they have their phone most people have their phone in their face, or they'll be sitting in a restaurant and nobody's talking to each other. The kid's got the phone in the face, and if you don't give the kid the phone when you're out in public or anywhere, then they're just gonna scream their head off. No children can be disciplined anymore not to act like little assholes. Well, if I just give them this, they'll be quiet. That's not how life works, because then you get a whole generation of people that think that you should just give them shit and turn into socialists when they don't fully understand what socialism is or communism. It means when you sit there and you say, tax the rich, what's going to happen when you get into socialism, which turns into communism, is the fact that the rich will stay rich. They will no longer be taxed, and you will be told what job you can do and what education, because you will be tested on where you can go and what you can do, and you will not have a choice. And you say, well, this is America. We always have a choice. You do not have a choice. And you think it's all fun and games, and it's just, oh, it's women's health care. It's women's health care. Well, guess what? Massachusetts decided, well, if you have that baby and you decide right then after pushing that baby out your twat, or, it gets removed out of your stomach because they cut a gaping hole in it and yank it out, then it's okay. We're just going to murder it right now. But don't think they're going to actually murder it. They're going to take it and they're going to raise it. Because they're going to find out its DNA and who it'll match to the best. And they'll keep it locked up. And you'll think that you're having a funeral for your baby or whatever, because you didn't want it anyway. So why should you even go through any of that? And your baby actually would be parted out, or probably experiments done on them. That's what Fauci likes to do. Everybody seems to think that this vaccine, this COVID vaccine, mRNA shot, brain interface is exactly what it is. It's a brain interface. You wonder why the world is starting to go even more and more crazy. It's because the people cannot control themselves much longer. It'll be even worse. And you have people that are saying, well, this is the beast system. No, the beast system is going to be willing and taking. They lied to everybody and told you that it was going to work. And a lot of people took it because they thought that they were doing the right thing. They wanted to save Grandma and Grandpa. You got to see this. I don't know if you can really see it on the... You see that nice, good chemtrail right there? Contrail? All the way across the sky. Clouds aren't like that. It was all the way that way. Oh, sorry, I went too fast. Anyways. I'm focused on where the sun's coming up. We should already have more rain here in Florida. And some people are going to say, well, Angela, it's rained a lot. No, it hasn't even rained enough. It hasn't rained enough. And they just get to control the weather however they want because they're smarter than everybody else. It's safe and effective. It's good for you. You didn't know that this was good for you to eat worms as your protein in your food? Oh, that's just, what do they call it? Earth meal? It's freaking earthworms. Or just how about your artificial vanilla is beaver butthole. That's what I call it. It's the anal glands of the beaver. I learned that in culinary school. Crazy eye, that's what I call the chef, Crazy Eye, because he had an eye that went crazy. And he was a great chef. And he was the one who said, you know, you need to pay attention. If you can't pronounce the ingredients that are on the package, you should not be eating it. That's what he said. It's exactly what he said. And I was like, oh, man. Isn't that cool? The sky looks nice. And then the chemtrails brightening up for you. You know, everything is built to be against us. I was reading that book, Behold a Pale Horse. And at the very beginning of it, it said, like in the first couple of chapters, it said, we need the power lines to go everywhere so we can build our computers. And this was like in the 20s when these papers came out, because that's what in the book, the guy puts the papers from the elites in there. And it's quite interesting. If people knew what half of these assholes were saying all the time, the sky's looking pretty neat, isn't it? What half of these assholes were saying or how they actually acted in real life instead of acting like, you know, what they do on TV, because everybody thinks that, oh, well, and I'm not talking about TV shows. I'm talking about news people and everything else. How they act, they're all prim and proper. They're taught to act like that. You don't see anybody acting like a normal person. So I did see something interesting. I watched that Jake Lang fella, which I don't care for him too much, but doesn't have nothing to do with his work. I just think he's kind of I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't dislike him. I just don't care for him, so I don't watch him. But it was all over the place, so I decided to pay attention about him doing the Islamic protests, right? Because that's how all the Detroit news and the other news companies are talking about it. So the lady from the Fox Detroit News was, this made me laugh, was trying to get him to talk to him. And she was asking him all these questions, and he just kept firing back at her. Well, did you tell everybody the video that you watched of me getting rocks thrown at me the last time I was here? When am I not allowed to protest too peacefully? Only they're allowed to protest peacefully? Why don't you just start telling people the truth? I was like, this is fantastic. Oh, it was great. And she just like literally lied straight on TV. And I'm not kidding you. What I mean by she literally lied, she lied. When the police officer came over there to talk to him, he was telling him that the city council was just about ready for him to come inside. You know, that he had to start toning it down to get some people to calm down a little bit. And you know, they're about to get ready, so why don't you get all your stuff together so we can bring you inside, because the cops were blocking the library. There had to be a couple hundred people there. But anyways, she turns around and says, excuse me, you see, the cops are trying to correct him right now completely. They do not want him to say all the things that he was saying. And he was saying some real good shit. He was talking about Muhammad and how that guy raped a little child. You know, they forced that Aisha to get married at 6 years old. They sure did. They sure did. This is also why they're taking all the books. See, when you go on YouTube or BitChute or Odyssey, you'll find my other videos, which those should be down in the description. My older videos where I talk about a lot of this stuff, I did bring up that they were getting rid of books because I had went to the library to get some history books, you know, like the Britannica or whatever. I was going to do a report on Kennedy, and I didn't want it to be from the internet because things always change, okay? And I knew that they've been changing things, and I couldn't find anything. All I could find is other people's stories of them, not real histories. You see, some kids younger than us aren't going to remember that in the libraries we actually had history books. There was a few computers, but not like it is today. So we relied on using books. Oh, I'm stretching. Give me a second. So I wanted to go and get some books so I could read them. And I was very upset. And when I went up and talked to the librarian, I said, where are all the history books? She says, oh, we took them off the shelf because you can just do that now online on Wikipedia. And I'm like, well, there's a lot of lies on Wikipedia. And she had no reply for that, which told me that she was probably a retard. The sky looks nice, doesn't it? It's good to wake up to something like this because we are still here. We are still alive. You woke up this morning. You're breathing. You may not feel like you want to be here, but you know what? You are here. That means you have a purpose in some way or some form. I'm going to slowly go over this way. And that's the thing, is they want us to hate each other because regardless of what anybody wants to say about America, America was built on all the prisoners that were taken from all the different places that Britain had conquered, and they were brought here to build America. And you're going to say, Angela, what are you talking about? All the black slaves? No, actually, I'm not. Their own people sold them. What I'm talking about is the Scottish people, the Irish, the Chinese. A lot of Chinese were brought over here like that. Italians, all kinds of people. You see, they didn't let Muslims into this country at all. They didn't. They didn't let them in here, and barely any Jews, because of what was going on in that time. And people don't know the history about that time. And that's why they get so confused, and that's why it's so easy for the schools to say that they're smarter than everybody, when in actuality they're not. But the one thing we do always have to remember is that we are important. Every last one of us are important. We are. We're supposed to be here. Fighting squirrels. You know, because squirrel came and stole my cherries off my cherry tree. It's a cherry tree right here. I'll show you. That's a cherry tree. It's just a baby. And that's just a little baby. That's their swimming pool. None of the birds are coming over yet. It's still pretty early. They're all up there watching. The other day they wanted to land right there, but they're not doing it today. All right. Well, we're going to see how this went on the X, and then we'll be uploading it onto the TikTok, and I think Instagram now too. Anyways, trying to get my voice out there more. I hope everybody does have a wonderful day. Look, you see how big that chemtrail got? You see it? That's the same one that we looked at just a few minutes ago. It goes all the way down there. See how big it got? That's what all these other little wispy clouds are. Always remember, this is something we all have to always remember, no matter what. No matter how much those bastards are trying to grind us down, no matter how much people say or do or whatever. We are... I was trying to be serious, then my dog hit that, and they're fun. Okay, so anyways, let's get back. You are important. You're smart, you're beautiful or handsome, and you deserve to be in this world. I know things are rough right now, and I know it could be even worse than it is right now, and it's going to get worse. But you always have to remember that deep down inside, you are important, and you are beautiful. And today, try to look at something that's going to bring a smile to your face. Even if you feel like crying, just know that there's something out there. Think about this. Think about the sky you got to see in Florida, and you didn't even have to be there to do it. You got to see it online, and it was a beautiful sunrise. I will be doing a video on its own, probably just making it and then posting it, of the book that I'm reading of Steve Quayle and 9 Lives as an Indian by some other guy. I finished reading that one. It's like short little history lessons on things that are going on or had gone on because people need to know. But until then, try to have a good day. Try to remember that somebody does love you out there. You are loved. You are made just the way you were supposed to be made. You don't need to add anything or take anything away. You might need to change that attitude a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But you'll be all right.